Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash, and this is actually going to be about Season 8. So as we should all know, not just with The Flash, but pretty much every TV and movie that comes, or TV show and movie that comes out, there are a bunch of deleted or in some cases alternate scenes that just don't make it into the actual final product. Now, most of the time, it's because the deleted scenes aren't really that essential, so they can be discarded, or they're just not very good at all. Sometimes it's purely due to time, sometimes they have to be cut, and sometimes it can be because the story, in the form that a scene may present itself, isn't going to happen moving forward. Like an example of that in regards to The Flash is a deleted scene from Season 5 with Ragman and Weather Wizard, and they ended up not doing exactly what that scene set up, so they didn't use it in the final cut of the episode that released, and they just ended up releasing that scene as a deleted scene after that episode aired because I guess they had no intention to go about it that way. But over the past week, we got the official release of the Season 8 Blu-ray and DVD of The Flash Season 8, which came with a bunch of extras alongside all of the episodes of Season 8, as you'd expect. One of these bonus extras being the deleted scenes for Season 8. So I thought, why not make a video talking about each of them and what they entail and whether they had to be deleted. And there's one that I cannot believe. I was watching it and I was like, wait, is this setting up what I think it's setting up? That's already been set up elsewhere and we're almost being told it's going to happen. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, anyway, we'll talk about them and whether it was the right move to cut each of them out. Obviously with one of them, I'm just shocked they cut it, but yeah, we'll get to it throughout this video. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on this. Which of these deleted scenes would you have want them to have kept the most? Which one do you hate the most? And which one you're like, thank God they deleted that. Let me know all your thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support and everything, want to drop a like on the video to do all that. So the first thing to bring up, because it's not in this section, because we've already talked about it, and that's the first deleted scene that we talked about last week about Jay Garrick and Joan Williams discussing the whereabouts of the 2049 Barry Allen. Of course, he's off-world dealing with Cronach, and that's why he didn't play into, that's why we didn't see him as well in the Season 8 finale in those future scenes. And also they in that scene, or that deleted scene, they set up how they're going to, help find Iris in the Season 8 finale. Now, I did a full video going over this deleted scene, also the larger reach of it, linked in the description down below if you want to go check it out. So that's all we'll talk about it in this video. So the first new deleted scene to talk about in this video is from episode 6, otherwise entitled Impulsive Excessive Disorder, and this is of course with Bart and Nora, and this shows Nora after she discards the bomb that was threatening the casino, where then Bart snags in some champagne to celebrate with as the fireworks are going off, but Nora ends up snagging it off him and, consuming it because Bart is only 19, and though Bart pleads that 21 is not far away from him, Nora makes sure to remind him that, for you, you're only a couple of years away, but your 21st birthday is still 38 years away from now. Now, reminder, this episode was set in 2013, so it would be 38 years until Bart's 21st at that point. But yeah, Bart's not too happy about that, as Nora, in a very smug manner, consumes both glasses of champagne. I guess speeds to metabolism, alcohol won't affect her, so go ahead, Nora, enjoy it. The next deleted scene is from episode 13, aka Death Falls, where we have Caitlin slowly coming to the control of Deathstorm and her condition getting much, much worse, with her saying in the Deathstorm sort of voice, burning, burn for home, as we do see Mark or Chilblain put the finishing touches to the Mac device that will help in the transformation of Frost into Hellfrost to then, take on Deathstorm like we saw in that episode. Chilblain, of course, not being able to help himself and referring to Deathstorm as, I think, Douchestorm or Doofstorm. I don't know if it was Douchestorm or Doofstorm, I couldn't really tell. But yeah, not much to this scene. I can see why this scene was cut. I don't think it was overly necessary because I think other scenes sort of explained it pretty well. Up next is from the following episode to that last one, this being from episode 14, aka Funeral for a Friend, and we see Barry towards the end of his bucket list of Frosts that he was completing in her honor as he completes the winning of the hot dog eating contest at the Central City Police Department. Now, this is where we get a conversation between Barry and Sue Dearborn, where she is buying out property, I think it was, to then output into low income housing, with us seeing more into the bucket list where Barry went to samurai school in Japan and then did swing dancing with Judd Nelson of all people, who is the guy who played Bender in the Breakfast Club film. So I don't know if Barry time traveled to a younger version of Judd Nelson or just the current day version. That wasn't really addressed. But this scene takes place, I think it was the day before the funeral, so emotions are pretty high for Barry, and though he did this for Frost, he doesn't really feel that much better with him still searching for the right way to honor Frost. Now, this was a very good scene, especially for Sue as well. But this episode, from memory, was very all over the place in regards to, jumping from person to person and location to location, because we went through like everyone's different ways in which they went about sort of honoring Frost in their own personal ways, like relating to them. So there wasn't a lot of time in this episode that I think this scene with Sue and Barry could have been slotted into, but it wouldn't have been a bad scene to include at the same time. But just, as I said, sometimes time catches up and things have to be deleted. And just in regards to this episode, as I said, there was just so much happening and we were jumping all over the place. So I can see why it was deleted just because of that. Not because of the quality, because I actually think it's a pretty good scene between Sue and Barry. So yeah, at least we get to see it in these deleted scenes. Now, the next deleted scene is probably the, why was this scene deleted? Like, why is this a deleted scene? Like, from this video, like, this is like the top one where I'm questioning why it was deleted. And this comes from episode 15, or Into the Still Force. And it would have been a scene towards the end of that episode, maybe not the cliffhanger, but just towards the end, as Barry, as the Flash, goes to meet Tinya Wiseau. And obviously early in this episode, Barry had gone to her and she'd sort of like just gone away from him. And then that's when I think Dion showed up and he showed all of his time sickness stuff. Yeah, so she was at the beginning of the episode and then a deleted scene towards the end. But Barry goes to meet Tinya and tell her where her mother is, that she is still alive, because he, of course, saw her in the Still Force. Tinya thinks she's dead, but Barry can actually confirm that she is alive, but is just unsure of how to get her out at this point. Now, this, of course, is somewhat of a relief to Tinya, but Tinya isn't sure what to do until her mother is back, and she can be sure that her mother is actually safe, and also what to do with her powers as well. And this is where Barry suggests giving Cisco Ramon of Argus a call in order to help in her power-related issues. This, of course, setting up the cliffhanger from the Earth Prime comics series where Tinya, and we see her at Argus with Cisco learning to control her powers, and this is of course shortly followed by Bloodwork escaping from Argus, and then saying that that storyline was going to be followed up in The Flash Season 9. Why was this deleted? I guess the solution is, or the answer to that is, there was no intention to do anything in Season 9 with it. At this point when they were editing the episode. Maybe they knew at the point they were editing the episode and putting the final touches to it that Season 9 would be the last and they were probably only going to get 13 episodes, and that would mean they probably wouldn't have time to do this story to the way they wanted to do it and the way in which they set it up. I was pretty shocked to see this scene in the deleted scenes section, just because I was wondering if we were going to get set up, towards the end of Season 8 in the finale, and nothing happened. We were talking about that. We're like, okay, they're going to, put a bit of a tease to what was set up in the comic, but that tease connecting to the comic was in a much previous episode, or much earlier episode 15. So yeah, this sort of like, hit me for a home run, hit me over the fence when I saw this. I was just very disappointed to see this, and it just makes you wonder that now that setup from the comic probably doesn't mean anything because this scene was deleted, because this sets up Tinya being at Argus and what was happening in that comic series. So yeah, I don't know. Eric Wallace is probably going to have to answer for this because he didn't talk about this in interviews. But if I was doing an interview with Eric Wallace, this would be the first thing I'm asking him about Season 9 is like, hold on, was that deleted from Season 8 because you have no intention to do the Bloodwork thing now? Please answer. And the next and also final deleted scene is from episode 16, or The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen, where we have Barry after being hit with the aging device, and he is sort of taken like a grandpa nap of sorts, and he's being woken up by Team Flash in order to move along with fixing the issue at hand with him. And it's pretty much just a scene of Barry doing sort of like old man stuff, like, oh, I got a sore back, waking up all tired from a nap, coughing, groaning. It's just a bit of like a comedic scene, nothing more, nothing less, not really much to take of it. I can see why it was deleted. Now, of course, the question that I sort of presented earlier, which of these deleted scenes should have stayed the most? Doesn't mean they had to stay, but just one deserved to stay the most. And the answer's obvious. It's the one with Old Man Barry. No, of course, we're talking about this Tinya Wiseau scene. Like, I'm very curious because surely now that these have been released, that Eric Wallace will be asked about it, just because we just assume that this was being set up for something in Season 9, which makes me wonder what's in Season 9 now if they have no intention to do the Bloodwork stuff, because I don't think any of us thought Bloodwork was going to be a main villain or something like that in the final season after that set up from the Earth Prime comics, but we thought it'd be like an episode, maybe 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes, or Bloodwork would just show up for an episode and at least pay off that setup. But now it makes you think that they have no intention to do it, or there's just they just weren't too sure, so deleted the scene to be safe. And maybe they can include it, just like a redone scene of that in some other way. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that just felt like such a weird deleted scene. And like that would have made me really happy when watching episode 15 to see like at that moment they were connecting it. But then I'm trying to remember, when did that final issue of the comic come out? Did it come out after? Well, no, because this episode would have had to air before that anyway, because I guess chronologically, Tinyo had been there for a bit when doing the training. So it didn't matter if the comic came after, which I'm pretty sure it did. I think it came out in June, the final issue, and this episode of The Flash probably aired in like May or maybe like late April or something like that. So yeah, even that doesn't have anything to do with it. So maybe they just have no intention to follow through with it. I'm not too sure. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below in regards to why you think they got rid of it. Do you think they had no intention to do it? Do you just think they just weren't too sure, so just played it safe? But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it to show your support, and if you enjoyed the breakdown of all this stuff. Yeah, but any other thoughts, let me know in the comments section down below. You can watch the deleted scenes through a link in the description down below. Except for like the Jay Garrick and Joan Williams one, just the new ones we've talked about. There's a link in the description down below if you want to go watch them for yourselves. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.